There are normal games. And then there are these games, the ones where you sit down for 30 minutes and suddenly it's dark outside. Your room is quiet and you realize you've been playing for 6 hours straight. You skip sleep, you think about them when you're not playing, you plan your next move in your head while doing completely unrelated things. Here are 10 games that are almost impossible to stop playing. Anno 1800 starts simple. You build a few houses, a sawmill, maybe a farm. Everything looks calm, under control. And then suddenly, your people need sausages, which means pigs, which means farms, which means workers, which means more houses, which means more resources. And now, your peaceful little village has turned into a massive industrial machine that constantly needs something from you. And the addiction comes from optimization. You're always improving. You move one building slightly to make production 3% more efficient, and it feels incredible because now your city runs perfectly. Until the next problem appears. The Sims gives you dangerous levels of control. You don't just play a character, you control their entire life. Their job, house, their relationships, and future. And it starts innocent. Well, I'll just buy a better bed, but then the bedroom looks bad. So you redesign the room, and the house doesn't look good enough. So you redesign everything. 2 hours later, you forgot that your original goal was. The addiction comes from ownership, creativity, and freedom. This is your world, and you always feel like it could be just a little bit better. Civilization 6 has one of the most dangerous gameplay loops ever created. You start with almost nothing, one small city in a huge, unknown world. And slowly, turn by turn, it grows into an empire. You discover new lands, meet new civilizations, start alliances or wars, and every decision feels important because it shapes the future of everything you've built. The addiction comes from momentum. There's always something in motion, a city finishing construction, an army reaching its target, a technology about to unlock. You don't want to stop in the middle of progress, so you keep going, and somehow what felt like 20 minutes was actually 3 hours. No surprise, this game is here. Stardew Valley is peaceful. No pressure, no urgency, just your farm, your tools, and a simple goal: build a better life. Run away from everyday stress. But weirdly, the addiction comes from routine. You wake up, water crops, check animals, well, improve something. And every day, something gets better. More money, more upgrades, more progress. It's calm, predictable, and incredibly satisfying. And somehow, you always want to play one more day, which turns into 20 more days. Terraria hooks you with one simple feeling: power growth. At the beginning, everything is dangerous. Even basic enemies can kill you. But slowly, you start getting better gear, better weapons, better tools. And suddenly, you're not surviving anymore. You're dominating. Bosses that felt impossible become easy. Areas that were scary become your farming spots. The addiction comes from that constant shift in power. You can feel your character becoming stronger in very real, visible way. And once you realize how strong you can become, it's very hard to stop before you get there. RimWorld doesn't just give you gameplay, it gives you stories. Your colonists are not just units. They are people with personalities, problems, and emotions. One of them refuses to work because they're sad. Another starts a fight for no reason. Well, another sets something on fire accidentally, and suddenly you care. You want them to survive and succeed, and you stay longer than planned because you need to see what happens next. Factorio is a game about building factories. Well, that's it. And somehow that's enough to keep millions of players hooked for years. It was fully released back in 2020, and it's still extremely popular today. Because nothing else feels quite like it. You land on an empty planet and start turning raw resources into working production lines. Conveyors move materials, machines craft parts, everything connects into one massive system that you designed. And there is something about its old-school visual style that feels strangely nostalgic. Like those early 2000s PC games you could play for hours without getting tired. But the real appeal is watching your factory come alive. Resources flow, systems work together, problems solve themselves because you build the solution. It turns problem solving into something visual and deeply satisfying. And once your factory starts running smoothly, you don't want to stop. World of Warcraft is one of the most iconic online games ever made. And somehow it's still alive and incredibly active after more than 20 years. It's a massive fantasy world where thousands of real players exist at the same time. You create a character, enter this world, and immediately feel like you're part of something bigger. Cities feel alive. Other players run past you. Everyone is on their own journey. And the magic of World of Warcraft that your character is never finished. There's always a new build to try, a new area to explore, or a new piece of gear that makes you noticeably stronger. Logging in feels like returning to a place that kept moving without you. And once you're back, it's very easy to stay there. League of Legends is one of the most popular competitive games in the world, even after more than a decade. It's a 5 versus 5 online game where every player controls a single character with unique abilities, and every match is a battle of decisions, timing, and skill. No two matches ever feel exactly the same, because everything depends on real people. And that's where the addiction comes from. There is always this feeling that you could have played better, reacted faster, made a smarter move. The game constantly gives you something to learn, and you can feel yourself improving over time. And once you start seeing that progress, it's very hard to walk away. Minecraft is probably the most dangerous game on this list, because it doesn't tell you what to do. It just gives you a world and leaves you alone with your ideas. You can build a small house, or a castle, or an entire city for no reason other than the fact that you can. And somehow, placing little blocks one by one becomes weirdly important. You start caring about things that don't exist. The shape of your roof, the view from your window, whether your farm looks nice from a distance. And the craziest part is, this game came out in 2011, and it's still one of the most played games in the world. At this point, Minecraft isn't just a game, it's a place people live in. Games like this are special. They're not just something you play to pass the time, they are the ones you remember years later, the worlds you come back to, the saves you never delete. And everyone has at least one game like that, the one you randomly think about, the one you reinstalled just to check something and somehow it's 2 a.m. again. So whether it's building, surviving, competing, or just existing in a world that feels yours for a while, I hope you find a game that makes you feel that way and brings back your warmest memories, or create new ones. Share in the comments, what game stole the most hours of your life and why? If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like and support my channel. It means a lot. And if you love gaming in any kind, subscribe to my channel. Stay awesome. Peace out.